EDH Deckbuilding, and I am your host, Demo. That's right, it's me. Hello there, everybody out there in the real world, and welcome to the EDH Deckbuilding studio. Not really that, it's more of an office or a man cave more than anything, to be quite honest. But this is where the magic happens. This is where I make my videos, and it is my anniversary, so happy anniversary me. December 6th, 2020 was my first video I ever posted, and thought this would be a good opportunity to do the old face reveal, which I didn't even know was a thing. It's funny, I was planning on doing this for a while, but I had a guy just mention on one of my videos, for whatever reason, he commented on one of my videos, hey, when's the big face reveal? And I wasn't even sure what he meant by that. And then I was like, oh, he must mean putting my face out there, which, you know, some channels do, some channels don't. There's some channels that I've been watching for, 5 years that still haven't done it. You know, the transition to it is kind of weird how sometimes, you know, channels will wait until they reach a certain level of popularity and then do it. I guess that's the case with me. For me, though, a lot of it is, you know, if we go behind the scenes here a bit, a lot of it has to do with the editing process for me. And I'm not sure, you know, for other creators how they do it, but for me, I find it can be actually, and sometimes it can be easier without having to worry about my face. Sometimes it can be harder. You know, like my 10 cards videos, it's probably just easier just to show the card, you know, and then I talk about it. That's kind of why I do my channel the way that I do it. You know, it's sort of supposed to be all about the cards anyway, though, right? But that being said, you know, there are a lot of topics, like, you know, a lot of videos I've done talking about, you know, what's casual commander or stuff like that. Those broader topics can be actually a lot easier doing it like this, just me chatting and talking to my face, really. But, you know, essentially talking to my viewers about that particular topic, which, you know, and so going forward, I think probably that I will do a combination of both. I haven't exactly thought about, you know, where I mean, I've thought about it. I just haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do it. I think going forward, probably my 10 cards videos, I will continue to do the same way I've been doing. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I don't think there's any reason to change anything there. So funny thing is the people that, you know, I probably have a fair amount of viewers that only watch those videos. So the people that will continue to only watch those videos will probably never see my face. You know, not that they care, I'm sure. But I think a lot of other videos, like I just did my Commander Legends retrospective, which is, I think that video would have been a lot better if it was me talking while I'm looking at the cards. So videos like that, I think I'll probably do with my face. Others not so much. Speaking of my Commander Legends retrospective, you know, it's funny, again, I just did that video last week, and that, you know, that's how I started my channel, right? I mean, I had the thought in my head of starting this channel, and then it was, I basically just had so many deck ideas that I didn't know what to do with them all. And Commander Legends came out, and I was just like going crazy, like a deck builder will do when you have that many options. You're just, you know, I'm like falling asleep at night thinking of all the different partner combinations. And I decided, you know what, rather than these go to waste, why don't I make a channel and I'll just throw all these deck ideas on there that other people can enjoy. I mean, not that they go to waste, but why not throw them out there for other people to use? My Tormod and Kodama deck was my first one that I was like, man, that's a really cool idea. You know, doing a landfall theme where I play a land from my graveyard, get a trigger off my Tormod, make a zombie token, gets me triggers to put lands into play. And I thought that because there was no limitation with Kodama for lands, you know, you make a token, you get a land, right? So I thought that was a great combination, but not really a deck that I wanted. And that's, you know, what a lot of the decks that I come up with, especially with new cards, are decks that, I'm not really my thing. Some of them are, some of them aren't, but interesting ideas that I want to throw out there for other people to use. So that was basically the birth of my channel, and of course it snowballed from there. Next thing I know, I'm getting call time spoilers, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll talk about these cards. And then shortly after that, I started my 10 cards video, and then, you know, I think it's snowballed from there fairly quickly. Obviously happy with where I've gotten in the last year. Pretty satisfied. I've actually surpassed a couple of the channels that I watched back in the day. So I'm definitely happy with that. I'm thank you for all the support. I'll say to all my viewers and my subscribers and my especially my patrons. My patrons are great, and I like the interaction that I have with them on Patreon in particular. It's just a very friendly, casual sort of atmosphere. And while we're on the subject, come join my Patreon. I'm doing more stuff on there now. I don't talk about it much. I really don't talk about. I'm not a big fan of pushing stuff on people and being real pushy and all that kind of stuff. Here's something you've never heard me say before: hit like and subscribe. Right? I've never said that ever. I mean, I just did, but other than that, I just don't think there's any point to it. It's everybody gets it. We all get it. If you like a channel, you subscribe. If you like the video, you hit the like. If you don't like the video, you hit the dislike. Not that that matters anymore, right? Because they got rid of it. You still do see it though. For a content creator, even though it doesn't show up on the video, you actually see the amount of people that dislike your videos. So I mean, I got pretty good ratios, so I'm not that concerned about it. Although I will say there's an actual name I think one of my patrons or one of my viewers gave to this, where somebody subscribes to your channel and then just so they can dislike your videos. I mean, I think it's hilarious. There's somebody out there, there's a couple people out there, my 10 cards videos, especially when as soon as I post them within the first hour, I'll get like 2 downvotes. So there's at least 2 people out there that really don't like me and are going so out of their way that they are subscribing to my video and probably hitting notifications too, because it is very quickly after I post the video. And then, obviously it's a view as well. I mean, I'm sure they're not actually watching the whole video, but the fact that they put that much effort into giving me a dislike is kind of funny, really. I mean, I'm not bothered by it, not even a little bit. I mean, you're subscribing to my channel, so thanks. I imagine it was probably, someone I sort of got into it with in the comments section. In the beginning, I will be honest, in the beginning, that was something I wasn't prepared for, was the, I don't want to say hate, but the trolling, not trolling, I don't know if that's the right word either, but just the real pushback, like, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, that's stupid. I am all about the open discussion about if I'm not correct about some stuff and I have been actually wrong. I have made actual mistakes, especially in the beginning. I was really rushing those videos out. I was doing one every single day in the month of February, and that was tough. And so I was really rushing them out without doing a whole ton of editing. And, I would even sometimes after I edited my video, not even watch it before I posted it, which I do definitely do that now. I always make sure there's no screw ups. Actually, if you go watch my Goat Tribal video, that has a screw up right at the very beginning. You'll notice if you're a regular viewer of mine. And after I posted it, I'm like, oh no, because I was in such a rush that I wouldn't double check my videos before I uploaded them. But so I have made mistakes. But some of the comments, obviously as most people are very aware, you attract hate, right? And I had one guy in particular that in the beginning, like when you're really, really small, nobody cares. As soon as you hit like 1,000 subscribers and maybe you start to get a little bit known, that's when the people are like, all right, let's see if this guy knows what he's talking about. And you sort of attract those people, the people that maybe think they know it all. And I got one guy in particular that every single video, immediately, as soon as I posted a video, he'd go there, comment, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, he's an idiot. Did that like 5-6 videos in a row, and then I figured out you could just block people, right? Or hide them from the channel or whatever. So I was like, good. I thought I had to put up with that guy. Then I had to do it with a few people. I mean, if someone clearly just wants to bicker and argue about stuff and just disagree with you, like, I don't see what's the point of that. I don't need the headache. I also don't need people constantly bad-mouthing me on my own channel. My brother said, well, why don't you just ignore it? I mean, who cares, man? Everywhere you go, there's people like that. And I'm like, yeah, but to me, it's sort of like having someone walk up to your business, like your brick and mortar business, and spray paint on the building. You got a restaurant and they're like, the food sucks here or something. That's what it feels like to me. And people see, and if someone says, yeah, this guy's wrong about this thing, then I like to go there and say, well, here's why maybe I'm right. Like I just had someone on my Stifle where I was talking about Stifle. I think it was the Counterspells video. It was an honorable mention. And some guy's like, yeah, Aetherflux Reservoir is a bad example of a Stifle because they can just activate it again. And I was like, and I'm not sure if they knew how it worked, but again, for me, having someone comment on my video and say, well, that's a bad example makes me look bad, makes me look like I don't know what I'm talking about. So I respond to the person and I say, well, how much life do you have? Like you have to pay the 50 life in order to activate it. So if you're going to activate it again, now you need to have it over 100 life, right? So I think in that case, that person didn't necessarily know what they were talking about, but there's lots of Magic players out there, younger, newer players that maybe wouldn't know that that was the case. If they had read that comment and I didn't respond to it, they might think that that was the case and not realize that it was, not necessarily wrong, but I think in that case, I think that person didn't realize you have to actually pay the activation cost. Then it gets stifled. Anyway, it's pretty hard for me to go into any video without some Magic talk. So obviously it's something I love to talk about. And I would really like to probably do more videos like this where I'm just talking about Magic just on a whole, right? I am going to be doing some transitioning here, evolve or die. That's the way it works in this business. I was just talking to one of my patrons the other day about how this channel that I used to watch all the time when I first started playing Commander, very regularly is, nothing's changed. They're still doing this exact same thing. They haven't changed a thing. And so their views are going down because really it sort of gets old after a while. So I'm trying to do new things. I have a Discord now. So if you join my Patreon, and my patrons have been helping me out a lot with it. I'm not an expert on that kind of thing at all. And in particular, Julian, thanks buddy. You've been helping out a lot with that. So if you join my Patreon, I have the Discord going now, and something that people have been asking me for quite a bit ever since, almost since I had like 1,000 subscribers. People have been asking me about gameplay, and yes, it's in the works. I actually just played a game, a paper Magic game, which I haven't actually done in a very long time because of the current environment, obviously. Played a paper Magic game with my couple of my patrons on Spell Table last night. It was lots of fun. I won the game. I feel pretty good about it. A lot of my decks needed some serious updating. I haven't really updated them in a long time, like my actual paper decks, right? So I had to do that first. That's still in the works, updating my decks. So all those people that really wanted to play with me, if you want to play with me, got to join my Patreon. It's a very low barrier to entry there. If you just want to see my gameplay, and a lot of people do because I have a very particular style. And I say this to my patrons too. My style of deck building fits my style of playing, right? I said this in my counterspells video where the counterspells that I was recommending there fit my style of play, right? I like countering stuff that targets my permanents. I like countering stuff that wins the game, right? Maybe a lot of the things that I recommend doesn't fit with people's play styles. So a lot of people, I think, want to see me play to see how it all plays out. And I wish you guys, I should have recorded the game I played last night because it played out exactly as I say. I think I probably won that game because I played more removal than anyone else. That's probably the case. Removal wins games. I say it all the time, right? So the gameplay's coming. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing it on my Discord. Here's the plan anyway. I'm going to be doing it on my Discord with my patrons, playing Spell Table and other things. And then I'm hoping to record the games that I play with my patrons, and then if I get a good one, I'll post it on my channel. That's my plan. Is it going to play out that way? I don't know. And then eventually, possibly, just possibly, I'm going to have actual gameplay in real life in the future at some point, but not for a while, obviously. So that's coming down the pipe. It's going to be a little bit of changes. I know I had a lot of viewers that probably have been with me for a while that don't want to see a lot of changes. They like the way things are. It's not going to be crazy. A lot of things are still going to be the same, but I'm just going to be throwing a few new things out there just to keep the channel, sort of interesting and keep me on my toes, right? I'm giving away decks, I will also say. So I don't want to miss anything here. The Patreon, the Discord. I'm going to do a Q&A next week because I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of comments in the comments of this video about, what asking me questions about stuff. What about this? What about that? What's the deal with this or that? What kind of shirt are you wearing? All that kind of stuff. So I'm going to do a Q&A video next week. It's just for the people that are regular viewers of mine that are interested in that kind of stuff. I imagine this video is only going to be watched by, that group of people that watch all my videos, whoever that is, thank you, by the way. I mean, I'm just going to call this video probably Happy Anniversary EDH Deck Building or something, right? So probably only my very regular viewers are actually going to watch it, which is fine. That's who it's for. And the Q&A next week, that's also what it's for. It's for all you guys that really are very interested in things. So drop me a question in the comments, and next week, I will make a video answering a bunch of your guys' questions if you got any. If there aren't any questions, then I guess I just won't make that video, but I have a feeling there's going to be quite a few. So I'll do that next week. Maybe even regularly. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, and I am giving away deck lists, and of course, they're free. But nevertheless, I'm just throwing them out there because I am just a savage deck builder. I'm telling you guys, I've made 113 decks on my channel so far in the last year. The Underwhelming Commander videos, the deck techs, the janky decks now that I'm doing. On top of all of that, I still make other decks that I don't even include on my channel. Some of them are for me, so it's a combination of decks that I made for myself and just didn't really like. Like I said, that's how my channel started. Just putting those decks on the channel that I didn't really love, so I'm throwing them out there for someone else to love, right? That, and on my Underwhelming Commander series, a lot of times the first two, the ones I just do a rundown with, I'll be like, that's an interesting idea, and I'll just throw it out there. I'll basically finish it up. Like, I'll have the bulk of it, and then I'll just be like, I wonder if that's actually going to work out really well, and I'll finish it up, play test it myself. Sometimes I've actually kept it for myself. I made a Diachan deck actually after I did that on my Underwhelming Commander series, because I like that actually seems like a real fun commander, and I really like that deck. I'd be updating my personal decks, by the way. I've made a lot of changes this year, a lot. But let's get to the decks. And like I said, all of these will be in the description below. You can check them out if you want to. Asmira, Holy Avenger would be the first one. And this is one I did on my Underwhelming Commander series. It was a bit of a recursion theme, sort of a low CMC recursion theme, where I have all those 1 mana value creatures that I sacrifice to protect my commander, and my commander gets bigger, and sort of rinse and repeat. Really interesting idea. Again, just didn't love it myself. Made an Embrose deck. That's it, just an Embrose deck. I mean, it's a Shaile deck, Shaile and Embrose, right? But of course, I find the backside is just way better to build around. So anyone looking for a deck for that, I got that one there. Jerren, another one that I thought that was a really interesting commander from Midnight Hunt, and apparently nobody else really did. I made a deck with it. Check it out if you want to. It's pretty interesting. I basically made it so that you can just stay on the front side and be okay, but you can also flip it over and do the backside. My top 2 commanders from Forgotten Realms, I did both of them. Oswald I did, and Minn. And the Minn deck is just fantastic. It is, you're making tokens. It's a very heavy permanent theme. I didn't want to put too many spells in there, obviously, because you want to be able to put stuff in play with your Minn. So very heavy permanent theme, and I sack my token, put something into play. That thing that comes into play probably is going to draw me a card, so it's going to give me another trigger. Really great value deck. The Oswald deck, another commander that I'm surprised isn't more popular. I think he's great. That deck, I did a lot of diddling around, like a lot of sack and all that kind of stuff. And then, I found that there wasn't a really big finisher. I tend to not worry about win cons when I make decks, which maybe I should a little bit more. I ended up throwing the Painter Servant Grindstone combo in there, which I really like as a combo. It's actually not a game-ending combo. It's not an infinite combo. I target one player and I end that one player. And even you could get out of it. You mill the player out, and then they have a chance to do something before they die. I mean, I don't know what they would do, but they could do something. That's kind of the reason I didn't love it, and I didn't really want to play it in a casual game. I was really on the fence about it, but that's sort of the win con there. And then also, you end up tutoring for the same win con every game, and I don't love decks like that either. So that's in there. I have a Shaman Tribal deck. It's a Grum Gully Shaman Tribal deck. I used Grum Gully just because he's a shaman, and also in Gruul colors, which I liked for shamans. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Very aggro-y deck. Obviously, you get the +1/+1 counters, sort of an added bonus. And then Storrev, another one I did in my Underwhelming Commander series, which, again, I just took the idea I already had from that deck and then sort of fleshed it out and finished it out. Taranika, another one that I did in my Underwhelming Commander series that, again, I basically, all the stuff I talked about in that video is what I did in the deck, and I basically just polished it off, right? Finished it up. I have a Temur deck that I don't even know what to call it. It is a token theme. It's a Temur token theme that has Malcolm and Tana as the commanders because they create tokens. That's really the only... I wanted Temur colors, and I got 2 commanders that create tokens. And I got Adrix and Nev and, all the token doubling stuff in there. I got a really neat combo with Young Pyromancer and Risen Reef that I like, where you cast, your spell and create the token, and the token triggers your Risen Reef. It's a really neat little combo that's in that deck. Just a really great value-y, sort of good stuff tokens deck. Trelasarra, basically just a Trelasarra deck. Again, I did a little bit of life gain. I played off the scry a little. I played off the +1/+1 counters a little. So all of that together, pretty good deck, I think. Again, just not really my thing, right? All these decks are just not, I'm just not feeling it. I'll play them for a while and I'll be like, yeah, I'm not feeling it. I play test them digitally before I run out and buy all those cards usually, right? So that's why I like to make sure I like it before I invest a whole lot of money in it. And I made a Zara deck. And a Zara deck, again, I think suffered a little bit because of the online play that people do, like the webcam, the spell table thing, where you can't exactly, I'm sure you could do it, but grabbing a card out of your opponent's hand and putting it in play under your control is not exactly easy via webcam. But there it is if you want to give it a try. I went with an exchange theme, so I take my opponent's creature and then I cast, I exchange it with another creature of another opponent's, so they don't get their creature back, and then I get another creature, and that's sort of what I did there. So that's a pretty neat deck. Yeah, that's it. Just a whole bunch of decks that on top of all the decks that I already made this year for my channel. Those were other ones, again, mostly for me, that I was just trying them out for myself, and others. By the way, I also made a whole bunch of decks for myself that I ended up keeping, probably at least 5 or 6 new decks I have this year for my own collection, on top of these ones that I just, like I said, I just wasn't a big fan of. I think they're great decks, though. All of them are in the description below. They're all for you guys to have at or have fun with. But that is it. Yeah, I just thought, kick my feet up, have a casual, chill chat with some of my viewers, do the big face reveal. Check out my Patreon. Like I said, if you want the gameplay, we're doing that there now. I do my patron deck decks there. I do my deck doctors there. We're fleshing it all out. It's a work in progress for sure, but check it out if you want to. That link is in the description below as well. But that is it for today, and thanks for tuning in.